What foundational skills are necessary for successful real estate investing? What skills should you try to master to move up the real estate investor food chain? Good morning, this is Alfred Einstein, coming to you from the beautiful Pockets of Specialized Knowledge Studios. Today we're going to talk about what skills you need to acquire in order to move up the investor food chain, in order to try to advance your career. I'm going to give you some tips on some skills that might be helpful. Okay, when you start out as a real estate investor, this is called your first level of understanding. You need to start with basic transactional understanding, and this is the equivalent of a real estate license. So if you went and got your real estate license, you've got this first part taken care of because you learned contract basics, you learned a little bit about the transaction, who all the parties are, what a closing statement looks like, where financing comes in, all that kind of stuff. So you need to have basic transactional understanding. So am I suggesting get your real estate license? Yeah, I am. If you don't get it, that's okay. You can live without it, but it's just going to make your life a little more difficult because you won't have access to some of the things that a licensee can get. Second, money is always looking for some place to work. That's a course I offer here on this platform. But basically what it is basic real estate finance. You need to understand how dollars and cents go back and forth between buyers and sellers and investors in real estate transactions. Also, if you get your license, your broker may teach you how to establish the value of real property. That, from what I understand, is not always the case. Some brokers teach their agents better and more often than others. But in any event, you need to learn how to establish the value of real property. Coincidentally, I offer a course on this on this platform as well. So let's move forward to the second level of understanding. So once you got this down, now you can start. And here's where you're going to begin. Wow, that's a pretty cruddy slide, isn't it? Second level understanding, wholesale basics. So everybody should start with wholesale. And the way you start with wholesale is you have to build your buyer's list. Because as a wholesaler, you're probably not going to want to take possession of too many of the properties that you get under contract. So you're going to want to sell that contract to somebody else. And that's why you have to build your buyer's list. Contract assignment. You need to understand all the moving parts and how you get a contract assignment closed. Because if you don't understand it, you're going to run head on into a few problems that you're not going to A, be aware of, and B, be able to overcome without some training. So wholesale basics. The next one is you have to learn how to negotiate. In the real estate contract that you're going to have placed in front of you, your standard contract that's used in your state, there's provisions that are negotiable in that contract. And you need to know which ones are most likely going to benefit you and your situation. And you need to watch out for other clauses or negotiable items that need to be adjusted. So negotiations is something you have to learn at this level. And lastly, while you're dealing with wholesale basics, you need to learn how to deal with homeowner communication. You need to learn how to deliver bad news. Because it's not all cherries and rainbows and ice cream in this business. Sometimes you're going to have a homeowner and you're going to have them under contract and you're ready to do a short sale and the bank disapproves you. It's bad news. Because once you learn how to deliver the bad news, the good news is easy. So you have to talk with people that are particularly stressed about their financial situation. As I've talked about before, if you're talking to somebody that's in foreclosure, the house is the last thing to go. So that means they're delinquent or not paying their credit cards at all. They may be delinquent or not paying their car payment at all. And the house is the last to go. So these people are under stress. And those of you that have ever been under it for any reason, you know what I'm talking about. It's tough to even concentrate much less look to tomorrow. So second level understanding is all based on wholesale basics, all to get you prepared for the next level. Third level understanding. So if you want to really be a professional real estate investor, these are the items that you're going to have to learn next. You're going to have to become a master in public records. Reverse engineering is going to teach you so much about your competition and about the market that there's a good chance that you'll prevent some mistakes because of how much you've learned in the public records. You're going to need to learn how to do HOA foreclosures, subject to. That's a great way to buy property for, and I hate saying this, I hate using the term because it's so overused, pennies on the dollar. You could buy stuff for about 10 to 15% of the property value at HOA foreclosures. Not everybody's going to love it. I did. But not everybody's going to love it. But you have to learn what goes on with it and pick something that you love. Hanging around marketing, that's how you're going to deal with your distressed homeowners. I'm going to teach you, well, I'm not going to teach you that in this class because this ain't a class, it's a video. Surplus funds, you're going to have to know how to collect surplus funds. Because if all you have to do is learn how to collect surplus funds, and the next tax deed property that you buy, you'll get yourself a discount on it, or you'll get a refund on it if you know how surplus fund works. You don't have to work in surplus funds 100% of the time, but know how to claim it when you can. Tweeners, those guys are experts in buyer's list construction. They'll teach you. The tweeners are someone that know how to build a buyer's list and how valuable that list is. And lastly, the next level is short sales. You need to know how to put short sales together. See, all I'm doing here is I'm adding tools to your toolbox. So you're going to come up against these problems every once in a while, and at least you'll know where to go to satisfy the problem. You don't have to do all these things all at once or specialize in any one of those, which you can, but these are things that you need to know how to do so when it comes up, you're able to do it. Advanced concepts. Now, for those of you interested in advanced concept, I do offer a individual training on all three of these concepts. I'll come to your office, your state. I'll stay for 3 days. It's expensive, but it cuts the learning curve into just a little tiny nick. Because I'm going to force feed you everything you need to know about one of these three. I'm not going to teach all of them during one sitting, but 3 days, your place, advanced concept number 1, foreclosure auction investor. If you want to become a foreclosure auction investor, knowing everything that you have there, there's additional training involved in being an auction investor, and that mainly involves title work and understanding how to read title, understanding if the foreclosing attorney has actually done their job and named all the parties that are necessary to get their client clear title. And that's something you need to learn within foreclosure auction investor. So with the 3 levels of knowledge under your belt, you're also ready to become a tax deed auction investor. Again, it's not, you haven't learned the specialty of either one of these 3, but you have the basics and you know exactly where to start with regard to all 3 of these. And lastly is defaulted mortgage investment. That's probably one of my favorites. If you're good at talking to people, this will also be one of your favorites because you can buy defaulted mortgages or scratch and dents for basis points, if not pennies. And if you know what you're doing and you can talk to people, you can make a lot of money in defaulted mortgage investment. So in any event, that brings us almost to the conclusion. Yes, we are at the conclusion. Wrap it up. Okay, so take a look at the levels that I set. Make sure that you understand what's required to move up a level. Don't try to skip because each level builds upon itself. So listen, I hope you got a nugget out of here. I teach most of those classes on this platform. And if you have any questions, you can go to my website, pofsk.com. You can reach me by phone, by text, by email. I prefer text and email. In any event, I hope you got a nugget out of this, 1 or 2. And there's another cute kid to say goodbye. And bye-bye. So again, this is Alfred Einstein coming to you from Brevard County at the Pockets of Specialized Knowledge Studios. Thank you again for watching. If this is on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. If it's not, I hope you picked up something out of it, and have a great week.